Hey guys, Mike Healy here. Hopefully you can see and hear me. I am going to just double check on my end just to make sure that I'm on here. And if you're just joining me, looks like I'm good to go. There we go. All right, I can see you guys. I'm gonna turn myself down. I'll just double check. Man, how's it going? How's it going? How's it going? Perfect, perfect. Oh, I am so excited to give you this today. This was a training that probably has been long overdue. Sometimes I take things for granted until somebody asks me a specific question. But I'm going to teach you kind of some closing techniques and kind of how to get your business really going and getting the results that you're looking for. I'm going to give everybody just a couple minutes to jump on here. If you're watching this live or recorded, I'm going to probably have it posted multiple places. I usually pull these videos down from my Facebook group and put them on my YouTube channel. I probably will put this on my public page. And obviously, anytime you guys ever need to download any of my stuff, have at it. I don't care. You know, pretty good. So can everybody hear me good and everything like that? I just want to double check. I'm going to see some of the notifications here that you're good. Give me some things. Yep. Okay. I see people coming on here, making some comments. Let me know if you can hear me good. We're good. Should be. All right, works on my end. Perfect, perfect. Okay, I see some hearts coming in. Thank you very much. It is kind of strange sometimes to have to look at myself over here. There's a slight delay, so I have to kind of ad lib as I go and things like that. So it's all good. Perfect, perfect. I'm seeing the numbers jump up. I usually am on time. I apologize for being 30 seconds late. But right when I pulled up my system here, it went blank on it. It got stuck. So anyhow, hopefully we'll be good to go with Wi-Fi and things like that. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn my Wi-Fi off on my phone, and just in case so it's not sucking juice out of that. And I'm going to stick to my own thing, so maybe that'll help too as well. All right, so you guys excited, or who's excited to learn how to close people and get more people to jump on board and do the deal with you? Okay, can I get a yes, thumbs up, happy face, whatever you want to call it? We're going to do that. So before I start, let's get you guys, I want you to get comfortable. Grab a pen and paper, or make sure you do screenshots of the stuff that I'm going to pull up. Also, after this is done, this video will still be inside our Boom Time group. If you see people that maybe are not on here that you think should be part of your group, make sure afterwards you tag them, that kind of thing. Try to pay attention to what I'm saying here, because I'm going to cover a lot. And, you know, it's going to help you. These are things that are tried and true. These are things that I've been doing for years that work. But these are also things that I have learned the hard way. Okay. Understand that anybody that's successful in this industry started at the bottom. Okay. No one is born knowing how to do network marketing at its highest level. It's a skill that you have to learn. And that's the important thing, is you can learn these things. If you learn these things, everything gets better, okay? It gets easier, it gets faster, and so on. I'm not saying you're not going to run into some frustrations, and you have to kind of keep your emotions in check a lot of times. I'm guilty of that as much as anybody else out there, but these are things that are going to be good for you. I am going to pull up a PowerPoint. I did take the time to put some PowerPoint together to keep my thoughts in line and kind of to give you some stuff that you can write down and so on. Okay, so all that being said, let's get you in the right mindset before we go into the training, because I don't think you're going to want to go through a training unless you have a specific reason. So let's fast forward, and you can think bigger if you'd like, but I'm going to just give you something that will help. How are you? Picture yourself, okay, 1 year from now, or can you imagine 1 year from now that when you wake up, you know that month. Okay, so next month, next year at this time, this next 12 months from now, that when you get up, you can absolutely do whatever you want that day or that month, because you have a $10,000 or $15,000, let's say $10,000 a month residual check, or residual income of $10,000 coming in every single month. This is above and beyond anything. If you have a job, that's fine. If you keep your job, that's fine, and so on. Okay. I can tell you that the satisfaction of waking up knowing that you have that kind of income coming in is just hard to comprehend a lot of times, especially if you've never been in that situation. Now, I know it might even be hard for some of you to even contemplate making $10,000 a month, but it is doable. Okay. To go back in history, so I can put you in the right mindset here, before anybody knew who I was, before I had, all the followers I have on Facebook and YouTube and so on, I was a personal trained. I did networking for about 10 years, pretty much did it full time, and did it to the point that I was at least able to quit my bar career. Okay. Because I was in a bar business and that's all I needed. But my wife worked full time, while I was working the dream kind of thing and barely making ends meet. And it was literally, I was even Steven. And I got to the point that I was so frustrated with networking that I finally quit. I just said, I'm done. I'm not doing it anymore. And I had gotten my first job as a personal trainer with it, which was, 10 years into it. I hadn't had a job for my bar business until that point. So it was a very, very humbling experience. Okay. It was very, very humbling to had been talking about making all this money and living the dream and thinking making $10,000, $50,000, $100,000 a month. And I finally just said, it's probably not for me. I'm not going to have any kind of success. I quit and I didn't know what to do. I got my insurance license first after that. Did everything wrong, owed people money for doing insurance wrong. I said, so again, I quit the insurance business. Didn't know what else to do. And I ended up, because I was a stocky guy, I got a personal training job at some small little country club. But what changed there was everybody that I trained that were there, most of them were very, very financially sound or multimillionaires. And what was really cool is because of my network marketing experience in the past, I was able to ask questions. I knew how to communicate with people correctly. And by asking people questions, I got a lot of really amazing answers of like everybody that I realized and I'd known at that point that I'd met had, basically failed, little success, failed, huge success, kind of in that order in a nutshell. Okay. So what had happened is it kind of got my dream machine going a little bit. And at that same time, I basically accidentally almost got into another networking company. It was it was the same one that Tommy and I talk about a lot, where we were marketing a functional health beverage is what we labeled it. And within what I did is I actually got into that. I believe that the timing was important, that I got into a company that was very sound, had some track record of success. There was good leadership in the company. And then I was able to go do some work. And literally I went from borrowing $40 from my boss to get food money and gas money to get home one week. Okay, that's a true story, to the point that 12 months later from working that very hard, I actually was over a $10,000 a month residual income, meaning when I went to bed, regardless if I did anything else that month, it was not only 10,000, but it was growing, by a few percentages each month. Okay. So I need to put you there, because what we have our hands on right now is so far above and beyond what I've ever done before, or what that opportunity was comparatively to where we are right now. Okay. So we are early, to say the least. We're way early. This is going to be a business that's going to take a little work. It's going to be a process, but it's going to be worth it. Okay. It's going to suck for a lot of times. A lot of times it's going to totally suck. You're going to be frustrated. You're going to contemplate quitting. You're going to contemplate when it gets hard. Okay. Nobody runs wind sprints because it's fun. Okay. If you're an athlete, going to the gym and bench pressing heavy weights hurts, but you do it because you like the result. You know what I'm saying? There's usually pain through the process. Okay. So I'm just being truthful here. So what I'm going to do is I give you, most of the time, I like to train. That's one of the things I like to do. I like to make sure that you guys, get some of these things. I take stuff for granted, but I think I've been able to take a lot of the experiences I've had and simplify them so that you can apply them quickly and get your own success. So going back to the $10,000 a month, it is not unrealistic to be able to do that kind of stuff. If somebody takes the time, understands the process, works through the headaches and so on, and you can actually get the thing rolling. Okay, so I am going to, we're going to go solo on my screen. I'm going to go to a PowerPoint. You're going to hear me talk the whole time, and we're going to rock it out, okay? All right, so the title of this presentation that I wanted to do was how to close your iBuumerang process or prospects. And it's through a process, okay? It's how to close your iBuumerang prospects, okay? We need them to go through a customer journey to get to the join button. And that's what it is right there on your mobile device, is it's the join, okay? Now, this is how we get people started and introduced. And I'm not going through the whole thing. This is the only slide I have on this. If you're brand new, which a lot of you probably are, what you need to do is make sure that if you're in our you find the video that has this slide on it. It'll say ATM launch strategy. You can go into the in Boom Time in the group area, click on announcements, and you'll see it in there. Go through, watch that, learn it, understand it if you're new. Because literally all we do is this is a very easy way, one of the ways to introduce prospects and get them kind of starting the engagement process. Okay, now most of the things I'm about to show you, I believe, are pretty close to almost being written in stone. If Moses was an MLMer and he came down off the mountain, some of these would have been inscribed into the stone tablets. Okay, so let's talk about them. First and foremost, recruiting is a process. It's not an event. This is one of the hardest things for most people to grasp, because a lot of you, and a lot of times when you're doing networking, because you're so used to being an employee, and if you did something you got paid, or you were an hourly wage earner, it's hard for you to look long term. So this is one of the hardest things that most people that start networking, why they fail, why they quit, is because they don't realize that this is a process. It's not an event. You have to think more along the lines of being a farmer than anything else. A farmer doesn't plant seed, walk out the next day, and expect to harvest. Okay, he does a lot of times. He's got to do a few things during that process to get that seed to sprout. Okay, so just keep that in perspective. I say this all the time, is you have to learn to be the messenger, not the message. The messenger, or being a good traffic cop, is really just a matter of finding tools, finding systems, whatever, that gets your story across to people. Okay, so I've mastered this. Like, I try to keep myself out of the equation as much as possible and point people to a tool. The other thing is I've learned to say less to more people. The reason saying less to more people works the best is because the more times you swing a bat, the closer you have to getting a hit. And there's nothing wrong with celebrating the singles, but if you're going to strike out faster. You know what I'm saying? Like, get up to the plate, swing the bat, either strike out or shank one off. Eventually you will connect. Okay. I mean, there's no other way to say it, is say less to more people. Okay. And that's any number of ways you can do that. Keep it simple. Everything I do, even though a lot of the stuff I set up for you guys looks complicated, you'll notice I've never asked anybody to set up systems. I've never asked anybody to set up videos, Facebook pages, or anything. Let me do all this because I know how to do it, right? I've set up all these systems for you to keep things simple and succeed, because people are asking themselves a couple questions, and I expand on this a little in a couple slides. But they're asking themselves, is it worth doing, and can I do it? And there it is right there. What do I have to do, and can I do it? That's the question that most people are asking. And if you keep it simple, you point people to tools, it's going to work. And then kind of the last thing is, you really do have to give this a long-term perspective. Like, I would never, ever, ever recommend anybody attempts to do network marketing full-time if you're fairly new to this and you haven't already built up a very good sized check, because your business can fluctuate. You can have a ton of people come in this month and a handful the next month. a ton the next month and hardly anybody the next month. And then all of a sudden the other month, it just explodes, right? It's volatile. It's a business. It goes up, it goes down a little bit. But what you're doing is you're planting seeds. You're getting that growth curve working in your favor, that it starts to grow and grow and grow and grow. Okay. So don't put the pressure of this on here. Understand that probably 98% of the people that will ever be in our business are going to be part-timers. They're going to be part-timers. There are very few people that ever want or will work hard enough to make 6 figures a month. It's just a fact. It's not that it's not available for everybody. This was an equal opportunity opportunity, but some people just will not do the work. They will not they won't fly to every city they can. They won't do that, okay? So be realistic in what you're doing, but give this a long-term perspective. I mean, if you have ever seen like the slides people put up about what a residual income coming in monthly is, the equivalent of having like a $5,000 a month, a $5,000 a month residual check is literally like the equivalent of like having, $1 million in the bank. And people don't really even grasp that. Where are you going to get $1 million in most cases? It sure as heck ain't going to come from a job, right? And I use the word ain't every once in a while because I'm a hillbilly. Anyhow, also, here's some resources that you need to get your hands on, because how people make decisions, first and foremost, is people join people that they know, they like, and they trust. People make decisions to join people that they know, they like, and they trust. People will not just join you because you are the first person that gave them, an I decide. If you don't feel like people are coming towards you or listening to you, in a lot of cases, it's not an opportunity issue. It's a lot of times it has to do with your personal credibility. But the good news is you can increase that. You can become a better person. These 3 resources are phenomenal. Bringing Out the Best in People is actually, I heard that book referred by Tommy Johnson's uncle, Bob Schmidt. Before he passed away, he was one of the greatest networkers in the history of networking, like $50 million earner. Okay. That book is so good on learning to deal with people, what makes people tick. You're not in a travel company. You're not in a technology company. You're not even in a business company here. You are in a people business. And if you don't know how to communicate properly with people and what makes people tick, it's going to get harder and harder for you. You can't just post a post that says, save money. Okay, that does not work in most cases. You have to learn how to peel the onion back and figure out how to get in there, okay? How to make people like you in 90 seconds or less. Nicholas Boothman, he has a couple books out. How to Win Friends and Influence People. If you're in a people business, what do you think you should be studying? Right? You need to learn how to have personal credibility and influence, because this is one of the reasons some people make money much, much faster, is they have learned the people skills. Okay? Now, some other facts that are dumb facts, but you need to understand these. People make decisions, and these are statistics that are real. These are things, I didn't make these up. These are from tried and true psychologist studies I've studied. Most people only make a decision on speaker credibility 10% of the time. They only make it logically 20% of the time. And emotionally, they make decisions 70% of the time. So if that's the case, which one, when you're talking to people, do you think is the most important when it comes to getting someone's attention and closing the deal? If you listen to the way I talk to prospects, or Tommy talks to prospects, it's not the words we say, it's how we sing the song. It's not the words we say, it's how we sing the song. And if your presentation, and if you'll notice most of the tools that I put out or try to put out, I try to make most of them benefits oriented to create a persuasive tool versus just an informative tool. Information is overload, right? Let's go back to the slide, right? What was it right here? Logic is information. Speaker credibility, a lot of times, is emotional. It's 70%, which is the persuasive part of the brain. You should always be talking about benefits. Facts tell, stories tell. You know why facts? You know why facts tell? Facts give you some info and some data. But stories sell because you can paint an emotional picture in someone's brain that when they have an emotional tie to it, it's much more effective. Why do you think I started doing those interview calls? Because I can infuse my enthusiasm when I'm talking to people. I'm asking questions that are very targeted to pull out answers that I've thought out ahead of time, that when a prospect is watching these things, their brain is going, oh yeah, I have grandkids that I need to get money for. When you can put emotion behind something, like when somebody's talking, like, hey, why are you looking to make money here? Well, I want to make $10,000 a month. That means absolutely nothing to someone. $10,000 a month means nothing to someone. You have to peel the onion back and find out what they're going to do with that $10,000. Well, $10,000 to me means I can bring my wife home. We've got a mom that's we need to move in, or we want to travel. That's the stuff that's going to get people to pay attention. It's not 70% savings, just to let you know. Okay? It's not. I'm just telling you. I don't mean to yell here, and my coffee just kicked in again. But these are the things. These are the things that close people. Talking and telling stories. Tell stories about people in our company that are already having success. Tell stories about people that are, that are building groups, things like that. All right, let's talk about some of these other closing things. I kind of hammered that. 3 big things that you can kind of pinpoint that will kind of help when it comes to getting people to make a decision. Okay? Closing the deal, creating urgency. One of the things that you can use, obviously, in our compensation plan is that we have a binary comp plan. One of the reasons binary comp plans were originally designed is a fear of loss. People take action more out of fear of loss than they do desire for gain. It's just a reality of what it is. If you tell somebody, and there's nothing wrong with it. Now, I don't ever guarantee anybody that if they join, that they're getting spilled, that kind of thing. That they're only going to have to build one leg or anything like that. But I do always say, this is a binary. We can only have 2 people on our front line. Everybody else we put in has to drop down under those people. I know there's people above us or myself that are getting ready to put some more people in or plan on building this full time. If you get in now, there's a good chance you're going to benefit from that. That works. Okay. It's just the way it is. The other thing, when you're adding value, always talk about the team, the positions, any of the free things that I give out that you guys can use, the trainings and things like that. Continually add value to each part of your conversation with somebody. Hey, did you know our team is one of the fastest growing in the entire company? Okay. Did you know that when you join, we've got, chat bots, we've got, training material, we got Facebook groups, we've got all these things to help you win. You're always putting it on somebody to show them that there's even more value than what they know. Okay. Risk reversal. There is, believe it or not, somebody could get a 30, I don't push this hardly at all, but if somebody asked it, there's nothing wrong with it. Okay. Now, I always talk about the 2 questions. Can I do it? Is it worth doing? Kind of thing. More than likely, if we were to, broaden this a little bit, a lot of people are trying to figure out what you're selling them, how much it's going to cost them, why they should believe me, and what's in it for them, right? I never really sell anybody anything because I never have to convince somebody to join if I've positioned this correctly. Okay. Now I read a book called The Irresistible Offer. You can get it on, it's a fantastic book. I can actually see it on my desk, my bookshelf over here. And the whole book was based around this. And they go through the thing. And one of the coolest stories in there was the Domino's Pizza story about how Domino's Pizza was around for quite a few years and made no money. Like they were struggling. And for some reason, I forget the whole story. I hadn't read it recently, but they talked about the 30 days or it's free, or I'm sorry, 30 minutes or it's free. Remember that offer before they got rid of it because, young kids were running people over and, trying to get it delivered. They basically said after they presented it, that it was such a good opportunity. They basically said that and I'll read this to you. It's an offer central to a product or service. The believable return on the investment is presented so effectively that it's immediately apparent you'd be a fool to pass it up. The reason I talk about, when you guys have heard me do this in the presentation, is these 5 tips that I talk about. The 5 things I talk about are Holton, the travel industry, timing of our company, systems that are in place, and our community and culture. I know obviously that's 2 at the end there, the 5th one. But what I'm doing is, the reason I talk about those 5 things is I'm positioning it around this paragraph right here. That I am making the pitch believable that if they join, they first off, they'd be almost dumb not to jump in because of the timing and being in the industry this early, that kind, in the company this early, they'd almost be a fool to pass it up. Like I don't have to necessarily close people due to the fact that I figured that if you do and present these things correctly, they want in. They don't want to do it. Now, the other thing, remember I talked about the credibility and influence, like, the books I just had on here. A lot of times what you have to do, because this is a process, remember this is a process, is I use multiple things to continually put the story in front of multiple prospects. And I still have my people that I have written down on a yellow pad. They're the name of people that I'm prospecting and talking to, I still put on a yellow pad. Okay. But if you think about it, proof that it's working, there's a thing called social proof, a preponderance of proof, testimonials, presentations, websites that we have, 3-way calls, webinars. All of these things right here are designed to help you get someone to get over the hump to begin with. And it usually takes multiple exposures to get somebody's attention, right? You got to get their attention. Second, you got to get them some information. Third, you got to get them to kind of believe in it. And fourth, you got to kind of close the deal by giving them proof. Preponderance of proof is usually because, why do testimonials work? Most people give an emotional, they talk their testimonial and they use emotion in it. Why are some of these presentations great? Because people are using their emotion, their excitement to get people involved, right? The other thing too is you can use credibility of other people. If you don't have any credibility or influence, there's nothing wrong with that. But what you have to do is you have to figure out who a few of your heroes are and point to them. Point to other people in the business, even if they're cross-line to you. Say, who I really have enjoyed watching is, Lisa Smith. Lisa Smith's out there really tearing it up. She's doing a great job. She's a single mom. She's doing this. Here's why I like that. And, Edwin Haynes, he's been so amazing to listen to, that kind of thing. You just keep telling stories about people. Okay. You can use other things, qualifications, awards, people, recognition. Recognition works. Point people out. This guy got promoted. This guy got promoted. This guy got promoted. This guy got promoted, or girl. Logic. People are believing you because of the return on investment, right? And this one right here is kind of I kind of briefly mentioned it in a different way, is it's not the words you say, it's how you sing the song. I had a guy 2 days ago call me to try to recruit me in another networking company. And, and he's a sharp professional, $1 million earner. And instead of being intimidated with what he was trying to bring to me, I got the biggest attitude and I laid it out. I'm like, listen, I know you're a successful guy. I know that you know what you're talking about, but I have never seen anything this big. And I just started putting it all on him. I said, do you realize the same amount of work you're going to do with that product deal that's basically launching? You could be making 5 to 10 times the money here. And all I did was I talked so fast and with so much enthusiasm that it doesn't matter if you slur your words. If it doesn't matter if you sound weird. People will come from miles away to watch you burn. Ignorance on fire always beats knowledge on ice. Ignorance on fire always beats knowledge on ice. Never forget it. Write it down. If you only got that out of this entire training, you're good to go. Get an attitude when you're prospecting with people. Look, I'm telling you right now, we're building this big. We're building it fast. This is a binary. People are getting in and people are dropping in it. If you don't get in now, I'm going to be putting people down in there. Make them make a decision. Here's some of the closing lines. If everybody wants a script, right? These are the only things that I've ever figured out how to ask, because I don't close people. Because if I have to close them to get in, but here's the thing. The reason I titled this training, How to Close Prospects, is because that's what the world tells you that you have to do. I don't do it, but I used that phrase to get your attention to get on this presentation in the middle of the afternoon, and it worked. What I do is I give enough of a preponderance of proof, emotionally charged, stuff, that they make their own decision. Because if you have to close somebody to get in, you'll have to close them to stay in, and you'll have to close them to do work, and it just wears you out. You don't want everybody in your business. You only want the people that want to be in the business. Huge difference. Huge difference. Weed through them. Say less to more people, because if you say less to more people, you will quickly find the person that you want faster. So my closing lines is, if I've given somebody, like some testimonies, I put them in the ATM group, 5-star group, I've gotten them information, I've done a 3-way call, I need to get a decision. You know why? Because I got no time to waste. And they need to know it. If you have the killer bees syndrome of badgering and begging somebody, then it doesn't appear to be such a good opportunity that you can't do this without me. But if you have the attitude of, look, I don't care if you get in or not. I tell people that all the time. I say, look, I don't care if you get into this or not. I'm going to be making 6 figures a month in probably less than a year or two, with or without you. I'm just showing this to you so you know what you're saying no to. And I would be really upset if you didn't tell me about this if you knew what I knew. Look at the info, then say no to me. That's attitude. That's how you close people, okay? What do you want to do next? I always ask that. Are you ready to get started? Believe it or not, a lot of people are afraid to ask this question because they're afraid that they're going to say no. But if you have an attitude and you've done your work, it's okay. And if you let it just roll off and move along and it doesn't faze you that they said no, that person, because most people want to buy, but they hate being sold. Most people love to buy, but they hate being sold. So take it away from them. There's a strategy in marketing I call holding the puppy. When you walk, if you ever take a kid into a pet store, you're walking out with a puppy. Why do you think they walk through the puppy place handing out puppies for kids to pet? Because once you've done it, if you took that puppy away, that kid freaks out, man. Like the kid's going to explode, right? Have enough of an attitude, have enough confidence in your future that you're not going to just let Billy Bob Broken Paw make your decisions so over the top, affect you so much when he says no. Because if you move away from them faster, they're still watching you. They're still going to be looking at your information. I'm telling you, they are. I ask this question too a lot of times. But half of these they pop into my head when they pop into my head. I don't have this structured. I just wrote these down to make sure you had some stuff to remember. Scale of 1 to 10, where do you see yourself? 1 being, I hate this, you're an idiot, Mike, or 10, I'm in, get out of my way. Okay, I always joke when I say all this stuff too. When I say these things with on prospect, like when I'm closing people or following up with people, I would call Liz up. Hey, Liz, Mike Healy. Hey, listen, I know I sent you a few things. I really don't want to be a stalker. So if you don't mind, what do you want to do next? Because I know that I've shown you quite a few things. If they've got more questions, I move on. I don't keep 10-minute conversations going. Here's what I will tell you. Leaders make fast decisions. You want to build a 6-figure a year business, 6-figure a month business, you're looking for leaders. Leaders make quick decisions. Leaders make quick decisions. Leaders make quick decisions. Which package makes sense for the most for you? Which package makes the most sense for you? If you think about that, what that is called is it's an assumptive close. An assumptive close is basically you've presented the information. You know what you have your hands on. You got a big enough attitude that they would feel, you just say, which package makes sense for you? The coach, the business, or first class? Coach, perfect. You can upgrade for 60 days later if you want. I'm a leader. I'm coming in first class. Awesome. Let's get you set up and let's get you started. Business class, because that's all the money I got. I want to, after I get these first 2 people in, you're going to, boom. You see what I'm saying? What do you want to do next? Are you ready to get started? Scale of 1 to 10, where do you see yourself? Which package makes most sense for you? If you just write those down on a piece of paper every time you're talking to somebody and write that other page down about having an attitude, you're going to blow it up. Okay, I'm going back to me. We're going solo on Michael here. Are you guys getting something out of this? Did you get something out of this? Because I'm about done. I know I ran a little over about 35 minutes or so. But I'm telling you, these are things that I've had to learn. These are experiences that I've had. I'm just telling you that it works. Okay. I mean, the first network marketing company I ever did, it took me 4 years to personally enroll 40 people. 4 years. That's only recruiting 10 people a year. And I still made just enough to get out of my job. I think I averaged about $3,000 a month. And I had, at my bar business career that I had at the time, I think my top monthly income was right around $1,700. So I had literally doubled my income by just learning this. But then you get better and you get better and you get better. The more times you swing the bat, the better you get at swinging a bat, right? However, if you swing the bat wrong all the time, so this is why I show you guys exactly what you need to do. If you use the ATM system, understand the ATM system is not designed necessarily to close your people. The ATM system is a tool or a strategy that you can use to begin to introduce people to what we're into. From a casual, easy platform that people are used to, that's why it works. The sizzle call works. I know there's still a lot of you that still use the sizzle call because I get an email every day that shows the amount of people that have called it and the time each call has used. And again, I've said this for however 6 months since I put that call out. Probably 70 to 80% of the people that listen to that message, they listen to the entire 8 minutes of it because I coordinate it with emotion in it. I told stories through it. And I basically put them in a position, it was thought out. It was strategic. Okay. You have to understand that this is a process of you doing something over a long period of time that you will get better at. You will increase your odds. Listen to Jim Rohn's CD, How to Build a Network Marketing Business. If you don't believe me, but if you do these things, you're going to see that your success rate is going to increase. If you plug people into these trainings, if you send this training to your team, right, and they apply it, it's not rocket science what we're doing here. And we're about to have more and more people with more social proof and more success stories and more people to point to. Like, we're so early. I think we still have probably less than less than 50,000 people in the entire company worldwide. That does not make up half the Ohio State football stadium. And I always reference football because I like football. That doesn't fill up half the stadium. And if you think about this in perspective, on every given Saturday during the fall, there are a few hundred stadiums that are packed out like that. Okay? And this, we're talking worldwide. That's all. It's going to take us a full year to really go after this thing in a massive, massive way. Okay? And you're in early. You are in early. Is this going to be, are you going to get frustrated? Yes. Are you going to want to quit occasionally? Absolutely. Okay. Are you going to have fun every day? Nope. You ain't having fun every day anyhow. But it gets a lot easier when you start having these little tiny wins. You get a couple customers. You get another rep. You get a few more things built out. You're starting to get your pipeline full of people. You're starting to learn these things. You've got a long-term perspective of success here, and down the road, it pays dividends. Down the road, it pays dividends. Like I haven't done one in a long time, but I used to do bodybuilding contests. It's awesome to eat whenever you want to eat, whatever you want to eat. But then when it's, you make the decision that you're going to do a contest, you typically, in a bodybuilding contest, it's usually about a 12-week period that you get real strict with your diet. The first 2 to 3 weeks are typically the most painful because you have to adjust it. You have to do the activities that you hadn't been, being diligent with, and you see zero results. You see zero results, but then all of a sudden you see a little new crease that you didn't see before, and you get a little more enthusiastic. And pretty soon, you get a new belt hole that's not the other direction. You didn't have to punch a new hole in your belt. You actually could tighten it down to the pre-existing ones. And that's what gets you going, okay? You're early. You're brand new. We're 60 days old from the time I'm doing this recording. Nobody's in this thing, okay? I can't believe somebody just posted, "Go Badgers, go Buckeyes." I know we're playing this week. Anyhow, sorry, you got me. But here's what I'll tell you, okay? If you discipline yourself to become brilliant in the basics, stick with the core tasks of saying less to more people, be the messenger, not the message, you will grow your business over a period of time. You will plow the field, you will plant the corn, and some of the corn kernels will produce, and some of them will be massive ears, and some of them will replicate into massive organizations. It's just time. It's just a matter of giving it time to grow. Okay. Nothing good. The Bible says, don't grow weary in well-doing, because in due time you will reap if you faint not. You should find that scripture and probably put it right where you cannot not miss it. Okay. Do not grow weary in well-doing, doing the right things, right activities, because in due time you shall reap if you faint not. Does that mean you are going to probably be in a position to faint often? Yep. But if you faint not and you stay the course, never quit on a bad day. Always, if you're having a bad day, call somebody in your upline. Don't call your downline. Call somebody in your upline. Say, "Hey, how's things going? What's up?" I promise you, they're gonna get you up a notch. Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10 of your emotional level, you don't want to go to 10 and back to 1. Okay. That will wear you out. You will be like a lunatic within 30 days and you'll be done. Okay. Because it's too hard to maintain that kind of fluctuation. What you have to learn how to do is stay between 6 and probably 4 and 6. 4 and 6. 4 and 6. I got a guy sign up. Great. Somebody quit. I got a guy to sign up. Great. 2 people quit. I got a guy to sign up and he brought 4 guys on. You see what I'm saying? You have to learn to become emotionally stable and not take everything so to heart that there's not more people out there. Okay. There are so many people out there. It's not even funny. Typically in a big network marketing company, the number one money earner usually doesn't even show up or join a company until it's like 3 years old. I mean, that's happened before where where people have joined companies years. You don't know who's gonna do that. But if you stay diligent in those little things over a period of time, you're going to grow your business to where you've got those nets out there. They're going to find those people. And again, you just don't know who's going to do it. So all that being said, you guys are awesome. I so appreciate you being on here. Great turnout for middle of the afternoon on a Thursday when I'm doing this. This will be still in the obviously in the Boom Time group. Tag your people in it, that you wanted to see it if they hadn't seen it. I will probably post it I'll probably put it on my YouTube channel, that kind of thing. A lot of times people like to hear this kind of stuff, over and over and over again. But I'm telling you, if you'll do today what others won't, you can live tomorrow like others can't. So anyhow, thank you guys for being on here. Appreciate you. And there's plenty of room at the top. Okay, plenty of room at the top. You can be one of those people. Make it happen. And I'll see you on the other side. Thanks, guys.